What's up, everybody? This is Bems.
And this is Ace. And this is the second episode of our second season of Serving Up the Tea.
Let's go. So, Ace, what's tea?
This fortnight, in quick succession, the women played Doha, and then the men came and played Doha. On each tour, the tournament is of a different level of ranking. So on the women's tour, it's a 1,000 level tournament. On the men's tour, it's a 500. However, this year, the men took home iPhones just as participation tokens, and the women took home water bottles. Not an Apple water bottle, not a smart water bottle, a regular water bottle.
Not a Stanley Cup.
So I just think it's tea that the women on this tour, even at a higher ranks tournament, are struggling. Like, where is the budget going? Why are they not being treated well, spoiled?
So I hear they got bracelets last year, but this year they couldn't even get that.
Was it Swarovski?
But the men get iPhones every year. I'm actually not sure the details on the bracelets, but it wasn't a smart bracelet. I can tell you that much.
The whole thing about the WTA being like underfunded, I would think that the sponsors at a tournament at this level would like not be struggling. I don't know. Or is it the WTA that allocates all the funds? Like who's negotiating these things? Because on the men's side, they're negotiating iPhones for a 500 level tournament.
And I definitely feel like when it comes to like gifting and stuff, that definitely falls on the tournament to do. So I guess that says a lot about what the Qatar Open deems reasonable for the ATP versus the WTA.
Okay, so Bams, what's tea?
I've really taken a liking to the young lady I like to call Putin's princess, Mira Andreeva.
I wonder how she feels about that name.
She loves Putin, so I'm sure she loves the name. What? That's his baby girl.
Wait, how do you know that? Has she said that?
She loves Putin.
I mean, I guess she has to.
Yeah.
That's how it works in a that thing. You know, this thing.
Exactly. And we're soon all going to have to love Trump because that's where we headed. But she won over the weekend and is now the youngest WTA Masters 1000 champion since the format started in 2009. Yep. And she also will be the youngest, well, on Monday, will be the youngest top 10 player since 2009, I think, or 2007. She beat 3 Grand Slam champions on the way to the title. She beat Rybakina, Swiatek, and Vondrousova. Vondrousova, a little asterisk because, like, her winning Wimbledon has appeared to be a bit of a fluke. But at the end of the day, she is a Grand Slam champion, and Andreeva did beat her on the way to the final. In her speech, she said, "Last but not least, I'd like to thank me. I know what I've been dealing with, so I want to thank me for always believing in me. I want to thank me for never quitting and always dealing with the pressure. Today was not easy, but I chose to be there 100%, so I thank myself." And honestly, what a bar.
And she said it's so cute too.
Yeah. She played fantastic tennis this past week. She did very, very,
she
very
really
well.
did. I was like, this season on the WTA tour thus far, I haven't seen someone so locked in.
Yeah.
Like,
she did not get deterred by anything. She was
mentally strong.
Very, very. And her coach's bond is so cute. Like,
Conchita.
It was great tennis to watch. Conchita Martinez, yeah. Iga, in her post-match presser, basically blamed the tennis calendar for being so packed, not having an off season, and basically being burnt out. She did have buys, though, in both Dubai and Doha. But, you know, if the season is 11 months long, I don't necessarily think that 3 weeks is enough downtime if you're also supposed to be competition ready. You know what I mean? I think she has
it's not,
some...
And I do think that Iga is just coming up with any excuse. But in this case, if she were to say she's burnt out, I would believe it, because The tennis calendar is insane. And they're trying to extend things and make them longer. It's too much.
And I get it that like fans want to see more tennis, but like there's not going to be tennis to see if all the players are burnt out and injured. But yeah, that's tea for me. Shall we get into some match point musings?
Sure thing.
Something that really amused me this past week is Zverev went down for the Golden Swing for the first time, playing in Rio and Buenos Aires. And he was unable to convert a title in either of those tournaments. He lost in the quarterfinals both times. In Buenos Aires, he lost to Cerundolo in the quarterfinals. And in his post-presser, he was complaining about the crowd being too loud. He said the public doesn't know how to behave during a tennis match. And the
Which
crowd
is
makes
just
it really,
such a weird way to phrase it.
it's a bit condescending,
Say the
right?
public doesn't know how to behave. You could have said there were a few rowdy fans that made me feel distracted. Like, to say that it was the entire Argentinian public that does not know how to behave. Who are you? And this is why we don't like you.
He said the crowd makes it really difficult to be here if you're not Argentine.
Ah,
Mind you, João Fonseca beat like 4 Argentinians in like 5
literally
matches.
on home soil.
Yes, exactly, yeah. And won his first ATP title. Like
And
even
did.
like when he was like trying to like serve for them, like serve during the match.
They were
he would just-
shouting him down.
He would just start serving. And when they asked him like how come you didn't wait for them to be quiet? He was like, the only way for them to be quiet is if I just started serving. So I just started serving.
Yeah, no, he was actually such a badass for the way he took that title.
Zverev, as old as he is, can't play because the crowd doesn't like him, or the crowd is rooting for the opponent because they're Argentinian. Like, come on.
I mean,
or
I don't want to
Argentine.
get into the this is what Zverev needs to do to win, because we don't want
him to win.
to do that. So what I would say is that making up these excuses, like, I feel like everyone's seeing through that. Zverev.
Definitely. He lost in the quarterfinals of Rio to world number 86. Just for a reminder, Zverev is world
Clowns.
number 2 right now.
Clowns, as Tiafo would say.
Losing to clowns. Yeah, so it wasn't really a great Golden Swing for him. I don't know if we'll see him back there next year. He didn't have the same complaints about Buenos Aires, but
No, the Buenos Aires crowd was.
they were
Rowdy.
rambunctious. Yeah,
I was like, "Is this Australia? Is this Melbourne Park?"
it was
Because
crazy.
that's the only other place I guess I haven't really locked in with the Golden Swing in recent years.
No, that's
but
them. That's how they get down.
they reminded me of how we always say like Australian Open crowd is crazy. They will say anything. It was lit. I liked it. I liked the vibe. It is like a different format of tennis, and this brings me to one point that I did notice over the past few weeks of watching tennis. I think it was watching Penko play a match on like one of the more random courts. So this was an earlier stage of Doha.
Like when she was in the parking lot.
Yeah,
Okay.
essentially. Or maybe it was when they put Rybakina in the parking lot, because people were also complaining about that Rybakina's placements for some of these earlier rounds of Qatar were like not great. But hearing them praying in the background, and that just being a different vibe for tennis, because I think everywhere else, if you're not in a Muslim country, you're achieving like that, like, we cannot be disturbed, we're playing tennis. And I was like, wow, this is just a different culture and a different context for tennis.
For sure.
Also with them yelling like Yalla to Ons Jabeur, I was like, y'all in a different place. And tennis just has to kind of adjust sometimes.
Yeah, I think that like obviously the norm in tennis play is quiet while players are playing, and respect for the players when the ball goes up for the serve. They need the place to be quiet and all that. But I think if tennis is looking to be global and inclusive, there needs to be some give, I think, a bit with, newer fans, different cultures, and being understanding. For example, like South America is such a huge football focused continent that those are probably the norms that inform sports watching and engaging with sports. And so I think it's really good that the crowd is so excited about Argentine players. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't think that that's a bad thing. So I think that Zverev trying to make it seem as though that's some sort of like a drawback. He's like, it's a shame because it's such a lovely tournament or it's such an excellent tournament or something. Like, the fans being excited about, you literally like the fans being excited about local talent in the main draw is a deterrent.
Being lit about it and hype about it. Like,
mind you, look at what they were doing to Feast in Hamburg when Zverev was playing against him just last year.
Literally.
He didn't have any complaints about that. He had no complaints about that.
He took it.
He's honestly just such a big loser, and I actually don't want to talk about him anymore. Oh, did you see that your gymnast babe, Rebecca Andrade, was presenting the trophy at the opening ceremony?
The trophy. Gymnasts always look so like
small,
so ridiculously small when you see them next to other people in real life. Out of the context of like a gymnasium, it's like, damn, you are 5'1".
You are very small.
And a full-grown human with muscles.
So funny. It's so funny. Back to the Middle Eastern swing, some musings over there. Jasmine Paolini was playing Eva Lise, I think.
Yes.
Round 1. And they had like a 4-hour rain delay. It was almost like 5 hours.
Just for her to come back and play match point.
They played 1 point. Yeah, they warmed up for 4 minutes, played 1 point, and then it was over.
Lise was pissed, and rightly so. Like, they could have. But I mean, the rain come down that hard that they had to stop right before match point.
She should have saved match point then. If she wanted the game, if she wanted it to continue, don't be mad at us. Be mad at yourself. It was on your racket. You could have done it
because she could have come out like swinging and like shocked Jasmine.
Paolini won the second set 7-5. So like, it's not like the first set was a blowout 6-2. Yeah, but the second set was 7-5. So she had a chance to take it to a tiebreak. Yeah, do you know what I mean? Like, don't be mad at us. You should have won that. One thing I did notice about Dubai as well is that Ostapenko and Anisimova had just played the final in Doha. Anisimova had that crazy good run, but they both crashed out of round 1. And it just like it makes you appreciate the players that are able to do well week after week after week after week, quarterfinal, final, semifinal, quarterfinal. Like, that is quite a feat because it's actually
not. But also, those who are constantly doing that get a bye the first round.
That is true.
So last year, for instance, Iga, I think she went really deep in Qatar. I can't remember. Did she win Qatar last year?
I believe so.
And people were like, oh, not everybody can come back and make it far in both.
She was the 3-time defending champion of Qatar when she just lost to Ostapenko last
year. So she won last year, and then she came back and did well again in Dubai. But as we all know, that's when Paolini made her entrance into the winner's circle. She took Dubai last year. That was her first 1,000 level tournament.
Indeed.
But Iga Swiatek had a bye the first round, and I think that bye makes a lot of difference. So not too much on my girls, because both of them went into Dubai having to play the very first round.
Okay.
After, playing in the final. And
that's a good point.
That was a pretty difficult tournament for both of them. I think they had to overcome a lot of obstacles. Ostapenko was hitting big in order to make that final.
And she continued to hit big in that final.
She did, but Anisimova hit bigger. She was absorbing a lot of pace. I was really impressed with her tennis, actually. A matchup that I need to see again soon, and I've seen it before, but now that they're both locked in, I need to see Anisimova and Andreeva. Because they both absorb pace really well and then attack when it's time. They have very tactical types of tennis.
Andreeva's tennis IQ is real good.
It's crazy. For a 17-year-old, bro, she be constructing points. Yeah, and she is always so like, what's the word? Like she's, what's the word when you wait?
Patient?
She's patient.
Okay.
She's patient on the point, which I love. It's enjoyable to watch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I've come across this young 18-year-old Canadian player, young black girl named Victoria Mboko.
Who is that?
She's playing at the ITF level. She's not
Okay.
I think in the WTA she's like 210 or 213 or something. She's not like playing main draw matches yet. But on the ITF level, she's undefeated in 2025. She's played 4 ITF tournaments and has been to 4 finals and won all 4 of them. Like across countries, in Martinique, in Guadeloupe, in America, in the UK.
That's crazy because those are all extremely different like conditions that she's playing under.
She's played 24 matches. She's has 24 wins, 48 sets played, 48 sets won, only 3 tie breaks. She's bageled someone 9 times, and she's beaten happening? No, she's killing it in 2025. I'm telling you, and she's beaten your baby girl Clary Ngonwe twice in 2 finals.
Clary need to stand up. What is happening?
Beat her twice, yeah. So I just came across her, and I'm very, very impressed. I'm wondering if she can keep this up. She literally hasn't dropped a set since the year started across 4 tournaments, across 4 countries.
That's
4 countries, 4 tournaments, 4 finals, 4 trophies. Okay, one of the 24 matches was the player retired, but 24 matches she's played, 24 matches she's won, no sets dropped. Like, I'm gonna keep my eye on her and see what's up. Maybe she gets like a wild card or something soon into like a main draw somewhere. But let's get into some doubles trouble because doubles
is under attack.
Doubles are in trouble. But on some first of all, some good doubles news. Mm-hmm. Our favorite women's doubles pairing, Siniakova and Townsend, are 9-0 in 2025. They've only dropped 3 sets this season.
And it's crazy because they've come close to dropping, but then at some point they just lock in and decide we are not dropping. They take it to a tie break, they win the tie break every time.
On second thought, I don't want to drop this set. But thanks, though.
Very clutch behavior. Siniakova, as we have said, is the secret sauce to doubles pairing because she's on title number 30.
But Taylor does her big one as well.
Taylor's doing her big one, but we have to talk about the fact that this girl is on title number 30. 3-0.
It's crazy.
Regardless of who she's with, she is winning.
That's true.
I do think her and Townsend are going to have a great run because Townsend is that girl. And they seem to have the best chemistry on court.
But I love it for them. Let's talk about mixed doubles. The U.S. Open has announced a new mixed doubles format for the 2025 tournament. Let me give you the changes. It's now the week before the singles draw during Fan Week, and the prize money has gone up to $1 million for the winning team. The draw has been cut from 32 teams to 16 teams. 8 teams of the 16 teams are going to qualify via their combined singles ranking instead of their doubles ranking. And the 8 remaining slots go to wildcard entries. The format changes were allegedly inspired by the success of last year's Mixed Madness exhibition event. And let's just say the double specialists on tour are not mad at all. They claim that the changes prioritize profit, turning the event into a pseudo exhibition focused on entertainment. The decision was made without doubles players' consultation, and it raises concerns about respect for double specialists and career opportunities. The 2024 champions, Sarah Irani and Andrea Vavasori, called the new format a profound injustice. Both of them are double specialists, and they're both currently ranked inside the world's top 10 in doubles, but neither of them would be able to use those rankings as direct entry to defend their doubles title based on the new format.
I mean, no, they definitely trying to pull big singles players into the doubles. A week before the start of the singles draw is crazy because already we're seeing the schedule is too packed for the singles players. But increasing the money is, it's a huge draw because...
No, so actually... Taylor Fritz was interviewed by Christian's Court, I think during Delray Beach it was. Mm-hmm. And he said that he's actually more likely to play in this new format because he would never take time out during the singles draw to play mixed doubles.
Yeah.
But now that it's the week prior, it's a good warm up. You get court time. That's usually not that easy to get for practice. And then you don't have to focus on mixed doubles during the main draw.
And you got a cute little check. It's basically like you're being paid to warm up.
Exactly.
If you're a singles player in the main draw.
Yeah. Taylor also said, though, that mixed doubles isn't really adding that much to the slams. It's not really filling up the stadiums. It's not creating a lot of excitement, and that people would be more excited to watch it with the top singles players playing together. So Christian Court posted that video of the interview on his Instagram, and I think people were a bit upset about Taylor's comments. And then Riley Opelka gets in the comments and very sarcastically says, disrespectful towards double specialists. Let's cancel this guy at Taylor Fritz. And then somebody responds to Riley and goes, you once said get rid of doubles when a fan asked you what would you change about tennis. So why the change of heart towards double now? And then Riley says, I was being sarcastic. They should 100% get rid of doubles. It's for failed singles players. There's no such thing as a double specialist. They don't sell a single ticket. They take up practice course, physios, and resources, and they don't turn a profit. And they complain that they don't make enough money. That's pretty greedy behavior, if you ask me.
No, his comments were insane. Riley Opelka. And someone was like, Riley Opelka, you are a failed singles player. Go on, play the doubles.
No, he doesn't have, he has zero, he's never been to the quarterfinal of a slam. He doesn't have any titles above a 250, and he has no titles outside of the U.S.
All he can do is serve big. I would shut up if I were him. I mean, people have to be honest. Like, tennis is not easy to be number one, and so I do think that there have to be all these different tiers, and I don't think any tier should be disrespected.
I mean, I don't even think that doubles is a tier. I think it's a different iteration of the sport. Like, and I think that, like, you see singles players trying to play doubles and failing. Look at Carlos. Love my baby. But he ended Rafa's career because he doesn't know how to play doubles. Like,
but also, yeah, true. And what I would say is that, let's be real, it all comes down to marketing. And that's what Indian Wells is doing here. They're putting some marketing efforts behind the doubles. And that's going to be the difference, because it's just as impressive of a game to watch. It's somewhat more exciting because it's faster. They just have to figure out a way to pull those like characters out of the sport, like how they market the singles players as individuals, market the teams, and
they've increased the prize money. Also, them moving it to Fan Week means that the mixed doubles is finally going to be shown on ESPN. I don't like that they've halved the field and then half of that is wild cards. I don't like that it doesn't really provide a lot of opportunities to actual doubles players. Because like you've increased the money and so that's obviously doubles players want more money, but now they really can't access the field to play it. Do you know what I mean? I don't think that's fair. I don't really think the fewer teams shortened format is great either. But I mean, I get it. Let's see how it goes. My heart goes out to the doubles players who feel slighted by this and weren't consulted. Riley Opelka has now added watch more doubles to his Instagram bio after, I guess,
he's a troll and I think I'm annoyed by him.
Yeah. Watch more doubles, guys. I love doubles. I think it's really, really fun. And I think it takes a special skill set to be able to work with someone else on a court like that, but also play your game. Like it's a really delicate balance and not everybody can do it. So let's see how this goes. Let's step into the player's box.
So in the player's box, we have to address right back in a situation. I think we also have to address Emma Raducanu's situation, as they both relate to safety on the WTA. Of course, we know that Vukov, who's been with Rybakina, I think since she was quite young, as her coach, has been banned from the tour for I think a year.
For a year, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Which even seems short, considering that the WTA admitted they found problematic text messages and communications between the two, and they found evidence that their relationship had become romantic.
But that's not illegal, is it?
That's not illegal, but paired with all the other info, I think it is concerning.
Right, but that in and of itself is not against the rules, right?
No. You can date
Okay.
your coach when you come of age. It
Right.
definitely usually means that your coach is a creep.
Well, you said it, not me.
I mean, it usually does. That's weird. That's a weird dynamic. Unless, like in this case, it's weird because he knew her since she was younger. In the case of others who may have met their coach at a mature age, and then you guys become romantic, that's not problematic, I don't think. But I think the power dynamic can pose a challenge for a romantic relationship. But a lot of the players came out in support of the WTA's position in the ban and putting their foot down and keeping Rybakina safe. I know Iga made her comments where she agreed with the decision. Rybakina herself is saying that there's not a lot of support for her on tour. I don't know what she wants that support to look like from other players.
She said that she feels isolated and nobody has reached out to her about it, is what she said.
I mean, you started fucking a coach and he's abusive. I don't...
I mean, no. I think that like these sort of people do a lot to isolate. Like he has been banned as her coach. Now her agent has left. He's replaced the agent. His dad is now sitting in the box when she's playing. The coach that is coaching her is taking instruction from him. Like I feel like he's completely immured her. Like she has no escape.
She has no escape. Even though he's banned, like he's still
and
like
also imagine
strings.
Like I don't know about you, but like when I'm in love with somebody, whoosh, you can't see. So she's in love with him, they're dating, they're sharing a bed, and he's completely manipulating the situation. Listen, she is still saying that he hasn't done anything, right? She's publicly maintained that he's never mistreated her, and she expresses her disappointment in the ban. She's sticking besides that. But the WTA CEO Portia Archer's letter and the confidential 3-page summary that is not as confidential as I'm sure she had hoped. Archer indicated that he verbally and physically assaulted Rybakina, used derogatory terms like stupid, retarded, made demeaning remarks about her abilities. He constantly engaged in behavior that compromised her psychological and physical well-being, pushed her beyond her limits, and led to illness and missed events. She also said something very poignant. She said, "You have created an atmosphere where the player believes that her success depends on you, where the truth is your success depends entirely on her."
Yep.
Which I thought was very good for her to say.
That's a good dynamic for them to study.
Renee Stubbs said in her podcast that the fitness coach has now left the team as well, and that years ago she made comments about Vukov being very, very negative on her podcast, and he reached out to the WTA to have her like penalized or wanted to sue her or something. He was trying to come after her for, I think she said something like, oh, like she's noticed how negative Rybakina's coach is. She wonders how much better she would be if she had a positive coach.
Yeah.
And he didn't like that and tried to come after her. On the Andy Roddick podcast, they were also talking about how the WTA had been sending people to Elena's matches to see how bad the verbal abuse was. Like, they did a thorough investigation. And so I agree with you that the 1 year seems a little light.
It seems very light for what is going on.
Especially since he has all these machinations in the background.
Even when it was a provisional ban, he still disrespected it. He was still in contact with her. I think that alone should have led them to say, you didn't even, allow us due process to do our thing. Extend the ban.
He has denied any wrongdoing. He's denied wrongdoing. He's considering an appeal. He would have had to submit that by the 21st. So I don't know if he did that on Friday or not. But yeah, I think the case is like super sad. I think it definitely underscores the challenges that the WTA faces because they can enforce no contact directives inside the tournament venue. But the moment she steps outside that tournament venue, he could pick her up and they could be like, there's no, like you cannot enforce that no contact directive outside of your purview. And so it's a bit tricky. It's definitely a bit tricky. And my heart goes out to her because I think she looked sad and on edge even after her win last week in Dubai. I mean, she ended up losing. But I think in one of her post-match pressers, she had won the match, but she just seemed so dejected. Like,
she did, because right now she can't see. She can't see, and it's not her fault. This guy is being controlling, abusive, and she can't see a way out. It sucks.
It's hell. Yeah. You spoke about Raducanu, which again highlights the difficult. I mean, it's a different sort of security, different sort of safety.
Yeah. This one was a very imminent threat.
So for our listeners who may not know what happened, during her match in Dubai versus Muchova, she was 2-love down, saw someone in the stands, ran over to the umpire, and basically had a panic attack and was hiding behind the umpire's chair. Her coach spoke to Croatian media with her permission, obviously. I mean, I would hope. I don't know. But he said that the individual attended the tournaments in Singapore, Abu Dhabi, Doha, and Dubai. On Monday, she was at a restaurant alone at the tournament in Dubai when the individual approached.
And would not stop hugging her.
He started hugging her, taking photos with her, wouldn't leave her alone. And she had to call her coach for help. And then after the incident, they filed a police report. So on Tuesday, they all had all of her team and security had a photo of the individual. After the first couple of points, she indicated that something was wrong. And after the first game, she went up to her team and said, he's here, he's here.
The WTA had him removed.
Now, tennis is a sport where, if we're honest, fans have a lot of access to the players.
A lot. And this kind of brought up the whole issue with Monica Seles back in 1991. And so I am very impressed by the swift action that the WTA took, because they can't play that game. They cannot. These deranged fans, that is insane. And of course, Emma Raducanu is one of the bigger stars of the sport.
For our listeners who don't know what happened to Monica Seles, she was playing a match in the 90s, and a deranged fan ran on court and stabbed her
in the back with a knife.
In the back with a knife. He was the fan of her opponent or one of her biggest rivals, something of the sort. And she was injured. And fun fact, the players voted against allowing her to keep her ranking while she recuperated.
Which is so crazy to me.
And the WTA, put out a statement very swiftly about what happened with Emma. They, reiterate that player safety is a top priority. They're actively working with Emma and her team to ensure her well-being. But I think it's difficult because every tournament has a different organization, right? It varies from city to city, country to country, continent to continent. And so, he could be buying tickets under other people's names. Like, how do we keep this particular individual out of the stadium and away from Emma Raducanu?
And Emma was already struggling with her mental health. This is now adding another layer to it where she clearly does not feel safe.
She had a stalker in 2022, right? He walked 23 kilometers or something to go to her house and took her father's shoe as a souvenir. And he was sentenced to I don't know if it's the same person. I feel like they would have said if it was.
Issue.
But yeah, that person was given a 5-year restraining order.
It's what to make her resent her fame and resent her success.
Yeah. I feel like she did so well to keep playing. She lost the match. Muchova would have been a tricky opponent for her anyway.
Because Muchova would be playing some kind of tennis.
Tricky girl. I'm proud that she continued playing.
I'm proud.
And she said so herself.
Yeah.
Because
she was in tears. And
no,
then
she was
also,
shook up.
Paparazzi photographed her somewhere else in public.
In the airport.
In the airport. My girl's really going through it. And I don't wish this on anybody, even if she's Miss Raducanu. I don't wish this on anybody. Looks very horrible to deal with. Deranged people coming at you in public spaces. You can't even walk through the airport.
I hope for peace for both her and Rybakina, and I need men to come together as a gender and figure out what's going on with themselves and just sort it out.
Sort it out.
Also,
I need the WTA to keep thinking of ways to keep the players safe.
I forgot to mention, Coco was asked about the Rybakina issue, and she said that she wasn't comfortable discussing the decision, but she said that she knows that Rybakina doesn't like the
She's so
decision.
disgusted.
That's my girl. One thing about Corey, she's gonna tell you her thoughts, okay?
But she just has to preface it with like, this is the level I'm at with this. I don't have
Yeah.
complete understanding, but continue.
She says she thinks it's nice that the WTA is making sure that they're out there to protect players, and that she definitely thinks that it's important that in their sport, because a lot of times if you look, sometimes the victims don't even know that they're a victim. And it's happened so many times in tennis, and then you find players speaking out years after their career ended about how they were treated. So I think this is one of those situations that like maybe it'll take Rybakina a while to realize.
She can't see anything right now.
While
She's
she can't see it,
love,
and the WTA
romance.
can see it, and other people can see it, then they need to, take the necessary steps.
I mean, Coco just always has the right ideas. I think she's spot on with that comment, even though she didn't have the full, understanding of the issue. She's right. A lot of these victims have Stockholm syndrome. They don't know that they're a victim. Right now, she's so isolated. I feel like she probably feels dependent on Vukov, so she cannot even see a way out. And I do think it probably was a good week for the WTA in the players' minds, that at least they are protected in some ways.
Yeah, for sure.
In other ways, a lot of the players have zero faith in the administration of both their tours, especially when it comes to the doping and anti-doping.
And here we
rules.
have net-worthy news.
Let's get into it.
Yannick Sinner
Negotiated.
Okay, so I'm going to just stop you right there because people keep harping on that bit. Case resolution agreements have been around for 4 years. More than 67 cases have been resolved this way. It is not unique to Yannick.
What is unique to Yannick is the length of his sentence.
Because both WADA and ITIA have agreed that he is and always has been innocent of intentionally doping. Listen, WADA's statement is that they accept his explanation for the cause of the violation as outlined in the first instant decision. They accept that he did not intend to cheat and that his exposure did not provide any performance enhancing benefit and took place without his knowledge as a result of negligence of members of his entourage. However, under the code and by virtue of CAS president or CAS president, whatever, an athlete bears responsibility for the entourage's negligence. Based on the unique set of facts in this case, a 3-month suspension is deemed to be an appropriate outcome.
One thing about Bems is she gonna ride for her guy. Luckily,
listen, I understand. Listen, I think that the way this case was handled was weird. The timings have been weird. The announcements, the sharing of information
that Yannick
has been weird.
That other players have not had. Let's be real.
Sure. But I don't think it's fair to say that. I personally think that WADA being even able to negotiate, people that were looking for a 1 to 2 year ban have now come back to 3 years. That means that they themselves were not confident in the case they were taking to CAS or CAS or I don't know how you people want to pronounce the acronym. Listen, if they were so sure they could get the guy banned for 1 to 2 years, do you think they would have accepted a 3-month ban negotiated? No, I think they recognized that their case was also weak. But WADA has also maintained from the beginning that they don't want him to lose prize money. They don't want him to lose points. But if he doesn't go under any punishment, then it sends a bad message to the people that are intentionally doping. They said that. So they were happy with the 3 months, period. People are bringing up this Spanish is it a figure skater or what is she? She's a figure skater who also used clostebol, but she agreed, mind you. She also negotiated for a 6-year ban for WADA. If she didn't agree with it, she shouldn't have taken it. Now she's on her Instagram reposting several articles and stories calling attention to the discrepancy between her 6 years and Yannick's 3 months. Let me tell you something. Let me address her, okay? She tested positive during the 2022 Winter Olympics and again in 2023. Her explanation for how the substance entered her system was unconvincing, leaving the circumstances unclear. She did not prove her case in the way that Yannick was able to. Is that an issue of bad lawyers? Is that an issue of bad access? Possibly. But then let's have that conversation. But Yannick cannot be put to task because he so happens to be the number one player and so happens to have access and so happens to be able to defend his case. I don't get it. Huh? And another thing.
Me, I'm not coming to fight you, Bems, because I can't fight you against this one.
His ban is running from the 9th of February to May 4th. He missed Doha, even though he was already there. He's going to miss Indian Wells. He's going to miss Miami. He's going to miss Monte Carlo. He's going to miss Madrid. He is coming back in time for Rome, Roland Garros, etc. He's not missing any Grand Slams. But he is missing 4 Masters tournaments. So for the players who are on the internet saying that, oh, it's so convenient, what a convenient time of the season, you guys don't rate? He's missing 4 Masters tournaments, and that's a convenient part of the season? I'm not about to play with y'all.
Convenient is a stretch, but it definitely is still like you're not missing a major.
Mind you, they had to convince Yannick to take the deal. He didn't even want it. He wanted to go to CAS, CAS, whatever, still. WADA approached him twice for this deal, and his lawyer has had to convince him because he was like, the first people found me innocent. Why would I take this deal? Like, why would I do that? They had to convince him to take this deal. It's not like he was like, ooh, no, he didn't even like it. And then you have all these people speaking out. Kyrgios, a sad day for tennis. Wawrinka, I don't believe in a clean sport anymore. Goffin, no one in the circuit understands what is happening. Murtuglu, parody of justice.
I will say, Bams, that it is their responsibility as an organization, WADA, this thing, that thing, to let everybody know what the procedures are. It's supposed to be fair for everyone. That. Well, no, the players are saying that they still don't understand how this was the outcome and how they got to this.
Well, they should read the documents.
I think that's fair.
Or get someone to read it to them.
I would say that I think it was at Australian Open, there was a town hall style meeting to discuss the policies and the procedures. And I think I read that only Christopher Eubanks showed up. None of the players showed up. And so a lot of them are uninformed on the topic. But again, I think it is the organization's duty.
Like I understand that.
And because they also play
but they can only do so much if
they have like an hour of free time, mental space in between. It is their job.
Then their teams need to advise them before they start having these knee-jerk reactions online. Because maybe do a player's orientation. I don't know what to tell you, but it's really unfair. Djokovic brought up a good point, and I will put my hands up and say this was good. He said a lot of things about how people think there's favoritism, but he also indicated that he doesn't think it's right, that if it's the fault of the 2 trainers and physio or whatever it was, that they are still working on tour, and Yannick is being banned for 3 months because they're now working with Berrettini. The masseuse, he's on Berrettini's team. Now,
that is a very fair and a good point by
that is one of the only comments that I felt was reasonable. Goffin saying no one on the circuit understands what's happening, 50-50 on that, because if you wanted to understand, you could understand. The information is available to you. It's available to you. So I don't know, but
so you don't believe them if they say like they maybe understand the rules, but are still not understanding how Yannick got to this conclusion, given the rules that they understand.
But the thing is, right? There's not gonna be a one-size-fits-all response when it comes to doping, because some people are intentionally doping, some people are getting contaminated. Like, I don't think that it's fair to, like, for example, the Tara Moore case. or Michael Emer being penalized for missing
A test.
a test. I get that all of those things are unfair, but is it that we're saying that Yannick should also be treated unfairly because they were treated unfairly? Then let's say that.
I agree with that nobody needs to be treated unfairly. There just needs to be clarity. And
I definitely think that it's murky. I definitely think that it needs to be cleared up. I definitely think that there shouldn't be all this mystery about it. It doesn't need to be some sort of secret ceremony.
Yannick and his team, they move like the mafia on this one.
Hello?
Very stealth.
They didn't play about it. You know. And listen, like, if he truly did intentionally dope and he truly did get to number one because he was using clostebol or whatever the case may be, unfortunately for everybody else, he had a plausible explanation that the authorities deemed to be plausible. Like, what is it? Is it that you don't want people to be able to get out of being accused of doping? Is it that so far as something is found in your system, you should be banned? Like, what is it that's going to make it clear cut?
Well, I think in the past, in sports, in professional sports, it has been much more drastic, regardless of if it's your intention or not. They have always prioritized making it extremely clear that it is always the player's responsibility to make sure that what is in their body. However, things have become more complex, and now we're having to have the conversation of how do we adjust.
And they're also saying that the testing machines are becoming more sensitive. So they pick up like little things.
A literal molecule of something, and it's gonna test as positive.
Exactly.
Which is unfair because like you're breathing air, you're, hugging someone.
For sure.
I was gonna say something, but it's crazy.
Is it the cocaine kissing thing?
That one, and then the one who was giving head.
Oh yeah, fellatio.
Yeah, all these things.
There's stuff happening, girl. Life is happening all around us.
So it's hard.
People are
it's
contacting
difficult.
each other.
They are in contact.
They're massaging.
They're in contact with no gloves.
Putting stuff in their mouth. Oh my God. But listen, he is. He's gonna have 9,730 points in the ATP rankings when his suspension is over. Alexander Zverev will need to score 2,545 points if he wants to surpass him, and Carlos needs 3,720 points in order to do it. So let's keep our eyes on that and see if that happens. I was going to say,
this is what Riley Opelka needs to be talking about.
No, he needs to watch more doubles. So yeah. Let's talk about our good big sister Serena's crip walk at the Super Bowl.
Yes. So it just dawned on me that a lot of people did not even know what the crip walk was.
But they obviously knew though, because they were up in arms when Serena did it at the Olympics in Wimbledon.
I think the media was up in arms. That's the difference.
Right. Listen, after she did it at the Super Bowl, people, like, I saw all sorts of commentary. Some people loved it. I saw a lot of people being like, oh, she must be like, if I was her husband, I would feel some type of way. I think Stephen A. Smith said that, like, it's grounds for divorce because
he said that
she's still thinking about her ex.
Mind you, unmarried, never been married.
He got the hairline of a married man, though.
But he is not married, so I don't know how he can hypothesize on what he would do.
Listen, her husband came out and said, some of y'all have no idea how criticized Serena was for the same dance at Wimbledon 13 years ago, and it shows. This is bigger than the music. And then Serena responds and says, that there, my baby daddy and husband, always got my back. I love you. Gosh, I'm so late to the game, in parentheses, I've been sick, and busy investing in billion-dollar companies and running at Win Beauty. Definitely not dancing to be petty, LOL. I think I proved 23 times over, in parentheses, not counting 4 gold medals, that I simply don't have time for petty. All love and respect always, nothing negative here. Smiling emoji.
She was just a part of a cultural moment, and people are mad.
And let me tell you something. If she didn't want to be petty with it, I wanted it to be petty.
I wanted it to be so petty, but of course I do respect that even when being petty, you can just be like, I'm not being petty.
You can be above it, yeah.
I'm being a big girl.
I think it was fantastic. I think it tied into a really well thought out and executed halftime show. I think that Kendrick is that guy, has always been that guy. And I think that him including that line about Serena in Not Like Us in and of itself was amazing to me, because I had never really loved, listen, I'm not a Drake hater. He has made some of the best music there is. He has increasingly become a bit of a weirdo and a loser, but
he's definitely now showing his ass as he's weird.
You can't fight with his discography.
We didn't know, we weren't sure, now we are sure he's a weirdo.
But you cannot argue with his discography. It speaks for itself. Do you know what I mean?
Summer 16, he had that shit on lock.
But I've never loved how often he chooses to slander and speak on Serena. So Kendrick saying you better not speak on Serena in Not Like Us, I thought was fantastic.
Protect your sister.
And he did that. And I think bringing her out to Crip Walk spoke to that line, and also spoke to Serena being so criticized for the Crip Walk at the Super Bowl. At Wimbledon.
Kendrick's like cultural awareness, like beyond hip hop, beyond West Coast.
For sure.
He's aware of what his brothers and sisters are going through around the world.
Yes, that's why he's always rapping like he's trying to get the slaves freed.
Yeah.
According to Drake. And I think Drake including that line in a rap diss indicates just where he is mentally in terms of culture and his interaction with Black culture. But we can move on to Indian Wells wildcards.
Yeah.
Venus Williams
Venus
got one.
is in the first round.
At 44 years and 8 months old, she's the oldest player to hold a WTA ranking. Can you guess what that ranking is?
I think it's like 100 and something.
100 and something.
What's her ranking?
Somebody who has won 7 matches in 5 years?
It's like 400 and something then.
400 and something.
I don't know.
974.
I didn't even know it goes that far back. Is it the top 1,000 that they rank?
I actually don't know how it works, my girl. We should look into that.
We should,
but
a
lot of people were upset about her getting the wild cards. People are saying that she should. Miles from Tune Into Tennis and I were at odds about this, because shout out to Miles though, because he really be tuned in. But I think that she should get a wild card if she wants one. I don't get it.
She also is going to sell those first round tickets because people are pulling up to see Venus play.
So he was saying that people aren't going to buy tickets to see Venus play. That's what he was saying.
I think they are.
He said that she should retire. That what she should get is a retirement ceremony. So they should retire.
Maybe she should get it here, and she should get like a nice.
I think so. So here's my thing. I think that when it comes to Indian Wells, any things that the Williams sisters ask for, they should get. If Serena wants Olympia to play in the first round of Indian Wells this year, give her the wild card.
Let Olympia on the court.
Let Olympia on the court. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like when it comes to Indian Wells specifically, for what they did to those girls in 2001, they should get whatever they want. Okay?
But also, I don't agree with Miles. I think that open round match, the stands is going to be full. It's going to be on either center court or court 2, stadium 2.
I'm not going to agree with you on that. I think that she deserves the right and the grace. She has earned the right and deserves the grace to retire how and when she wants. That is what I think. I think that something like the new U.S. Open mixed doubles format will be very well suited to a player like her. I think she should find a really good men's partner and play in that. I think she would do amazing in those sort of formats. But I think that if she wants to play at Indian Wells in 2 weeks, she should do it.
She's given some crazy doubles moments in the past.
Yeah, I think she should do it.
Especially if they're now starting to actually promote the doubles and increase the mixed doubles prize money.
Yeah.
That could be lucrative for her to do.
Speaking of lucrative, did you see that Nadal sold almost half his stake in his academy for 94 million euros?
Yeah, he certainly cut a check.
He said, bye, tennis. See ya. He had already sold a piece of his stake before. So it seems like he's slowly letting go of that. Roland Garros said that they will be doing a very big recognition of him this year. and they're very, very excited about it. So
Bigger
I'm
than
looking
everything
forward to
they've
that.
already done.
What have they done? He asked for it. He didn't get anything last year because he said he didn't want one.
Yeah, he was like not retiring.
After
retiring,
Barcelona,
then not
yeah.
retiring. Yeah. He was like, let's just wait until this is actually decided.
And what happened at David's Cup was just not what he deserved. So,
Mm-hmm.
But last but certainly not least, we have our Deuce debate of the day, brought to you by the Nothing Major Podcast Hot Guy Bracket. And I'm not going to lie, they had Tommy, Paul, and Feast not against each other in first round, but they're on the same side of the draw
And
the
they're
top
in
half.
the same quarter, which means neither of them can make it far.
Sweetie, somebody's got to go. So
I mean, for me, from the first round, Paul versus Kokonakis, difficult decision there, just because I am a Kokonakis girl. I think he's cute. On the other side, you had Berrettini and Shelton.
The funny thing, the thing about it is that you're not even considering Fushkovich and Kukushkin. Like, you said
No, what? They don't exist on that side.
That is so funny.
The bottom right quarter, Fritz, Runa, Kashanov, Dimitrov.
I had Fritz and Dimitrov going through, and then Dimitrov going all the way.
Yeah, I think that's the only way that can work.
But then when I got to Dimitrov versus Berrettini won.
Obviously.
Yeah. And then on the other side, I honestly,
it has to be Rude Draper.
Me. No, for me, it was Rude Jin Zheng, actually.
Not Draper. I think Draper is a cutie.
And I don't think he is at all.
Swag to him that's nice.
Not even remotely.
Okay.
It's a no for me. So then I had Feast Rude. And so then it ended up as Feast Berrettini for me.
That's the only way it can go, honestly. And sorry to Paul because he's probably in third, but it's just where they've placed him in the draw. Yeah. He cannot end up in third, but Berrettini, Feast, probably the two hottest guys on tour.
And the winner for me is Feast.
It has to be on principle. Yeah. And just
it's also Black History Month.
Yeah, there's no way. But also I think objectively, yes, Feast.
The thing about it though is that because I love Feast's attitude. Honestly, if Berrettini had better legs, we wouldn't be having a conversation. But his legs really throw me off.
It's tough out here for the guys.
Yeah,
it's really tough.
But his face card does not decline. What are we talking about?
Feast got a booty on him though.
Does he? And no legs?
He's thick.
He has a really thick torso. No, he's not. He has a really big torso, and his torso. Are you talking about Feast or Berrettini?
Feast.
Oh, sorry, I was talking about Berrettini. I was like, Berrettini does not have any booty. He don't have legs.
Not thick on the bottom. Feast,
and he's not
thick in the legs, in the thighs.
No, Feast is an all-around very, very good package. Very, very.
He's a tall guy too. I've seen him in real life.
He is. In what capacity?
At Indian Wells.
Oh, okay.
He was playing on one of the smaller courts, so we were actually quite close to him.
Got it.
It was first round when I went last year.
Got it. Okay.
Let's go. And his little French accent was cute.
Yeah. The only thing I would change about Berrettini is the legs and the fact that his torso doesn't cut in. It's very square. So it doesn't So honestly, it's Feast. It's Feast.
It is Feast.
Because even face,
objectively.
Yeah.
It's
even
Feast.
Face wise, Face eats him.
Let's see what others choose. I don't know how anyone will come to any other conclusion, but sometimes people having their own ideas about things.
I'm telling you, girl. Okay, let's talk about what's next on tour.
Well, next, everybody's coming back to America for Indian Wells, right? Is there anything of importance between then?
No, there's stuff happening. There's the 500 in Mexico. In Merida.
Oh, Merida Open. Yeah, I've seen that.
And
some people are headed down there.
The Austin, Texas Open as well. That's the one that Madison Keys couldn't play because her ranking became too high. Do you remember? So she had to pull out of it. And on the men's side, and then after that, there's Indian Wells.
She's at a career high right now.
Madison, yeah, she didn't even play in the Middle East, but because everybody was crashing out, she moved up.
Yeah, she still moved up. She's what, number 5 on Monday?
Yeah.
Period, Maddie.
So Austin Open is a 250.
That's a new
Is she retiring this
narrative
year?
for tennis.
Is she retiring this year?
She's not retiring, but the fact that she's now experiencing this peak later on in her career, I think is a very new narrative for the tennis world. And I'm glad that it's her.
No, I feel that. But yeah, coming up this week, we have the Austin Open. This is 250. Then there's the Merida Open happening at the same time in Merida, Mexico. That's a 500. And then immediately following that is the BNP Paribas Open in Indian Wells, California, which is a Masters 1000. That is on the women's side. On the men's side, they are in Dubai this week. That's a 500. Then some of them are in Acapulco, which is also a 500. There's also a 250 in Chile, in Santiago. And then following that, there is the BNP Paribas Open in Indian Wells, California, which is a Masters 1000 level for the men as well. So,
I stand corrected. There is a lot happening. I am the only person who has Indian Wells blindness.
You do.
From now until then, all I want to hear about is Indian Wells.
Indian Wells, Indian Wells, Indian Wells. Yeah. Follow us on Instagram, guys, Serving Up the Tea Pod, and on Twitter and Blue Sky at 2gals1serve. I will be posting an Ask Us Anything for some questions for us to answer on our next episode. We're looking forward to hearing from you guys. We're doing a Get to Know Us episode. So super excited to hear what you guys want to know about us. Because apparently we never introduced ourselves. We just started yapping.
Talking.
We just started yapping. So now people want to get to know us. So we're going to indulge you guys and do one of them.
And that's Game, Set, Chat.
Game, Set, Chat, baby. Talk to you guys in 2 weeks. Bye.
Bye.